This live prepper here, what I want to talk to today is about shtf events on after things happen, like the water system. Right
Yeah, it's
now,
pretty gross.
we even talk about the algae and the pollutants in here. Now, there's been mussels here in the water that got in here, and it's been cleaning it up. So nature's taking its course. But what if tomorrow shtf happens worldwide? Will this water be safe? Will it be safe to take a bath in? Will it be safe to drink? Will it be safe for any reason? The fact is, it depends on the location. Think about it. Let's say shtf happens tomorrow. Things start shutting down. Within 3 months, most appliances will start to crash. Most equipment will start to break down within 3 months without maintenance care. Another thing you're going to have to realize too, the filtering system that they use for the sewage plants and all that, there will be nobody there to put the chemicals in there to filter it out. So what's going to happen is all that sewage is going to get dumped into these lakes and stuff. So you're going to look at contamination in these waters.
More than what there already is now.
Yes, 10 times more. And it's going to take years for all that to clean up, because even with the mussels and the animals and all that in there, it's going to kill them. Have you seen pictures on these videos showing dead fish along the banks for the pollutants and things like that? This is what you're going to look at. So you're going to have to choose carefully where you want your water. Do you want to sit here and try to swim this and get to whatever, if you had to get to across the lake? You don't want to, because I want to tell you something else. Mutations can be created from pollutants. You got contamination. If you got cuts, sores, or anything on your body, that can get contaminated. If you swallow the contaminated solution, that can make you sick. And if you have no knowledge whatsoever how to live off the land or do anything, back in the day, the sailors would come to shore and they had dysentery. So they basically had runs. So what they did, the Indians took cedar and they made cedar tea for them to drink. And same as making pine tea, it's loaded with vitamin C to help cure them of this disease. But the fact is, most people don't even know this. Most people has no knowledge, no idea how to survive. So after shtf situation, especially in the large cities where sewage, raw sewage will be running into the rivers, like the Hudson rivers and all these other places, the dams will eventually quit producing. The systems will start to crash. The dams will start to crack.
Don't forget about the nuclear plants. Without anybody running those nuclear plants, which those are bad anyways, period, you're looking at explosions happening because they'll heat up so much that they'll explode. So you're gonna look at, it depends on, the wind and everything, of how far it's going to travel. So you got to think at least within a 100-mile radius, at least a 100-mile radius. You can't be around that. Even the animals that survives that, they're going to be contaminated, so you can't even eat the meat from that.
And there's going to be mutations created from these animals. And some of these animals
are
Godzilla. 10
Godzilla.
times more deadly. They're going to be 10 times more dangerous, many of them are. Now, as each generation is born, it's going to change. But if they continue to have the contamination exposed in the area, you can continue to have mutations created. So, in event of a shtf situation, the nuclear plant is going to be dangerous. Look at what happened to Japan and how many thousands of people died, and they talk about the contamination on it. This is what I'm saying is, if shtf happens worldwide tomorrow, things like this would no longer be safe to even take a chance on filtering it out. And even if you did filter it out, you're going to need to boil it. You're going to need to try to clean it. And filtering it out is something you're going to need to do 2 or 3 times. You cannot risk going into that water and getting sick. And if you're living near a nuclear plant, I wouldn't stay in the city, because after a time, as everything starts to break down and wear out, and some of the place might last years, but not running fully. But when those dams give away, when the sewage systems stop producing, when there's no one there to put chemicals to treat those sewage systems, and all that raw waste is going into the rivers and stuff, you are looking at a danger level. You're looking at health issues. So you don't want to drink the water from this. You don't want to take a bath in this. And if you live near nuclear facilities and things like that, you don't want to be living in that area during those first few years. How many years it would take, it also depends on the amount of pollution that's leaking into the systems. It also depends upon if there's nuclear facilities there. It depends on what kind of factories are there and chemicals that is leaking into the systems. So, you know, you might wake up one day and find yourself a two-headed bear looking at you for a snack. The fact is, you're going to have to find you clean drinking water, and that means away from the systems, away from the water plants, away from the dams, away from these lakes here where people travel. Think about it. Every time a boat goes out there, what is getting leached into the water is from the boats. So you're contaminating things. So this here's something you have to think about. After an SHTF event, what are you going to do to survive? Are you going to take a chance on taking a bath in this? Are you going to take a chance swimming across this? I wouldn't even try it. If you got to get to that other side to safety, you need to find a boat. You need to find something, because you do not want to be in this water, because you don't know what's liable to come out of that from a mutation level of contaminations.
Like the Loch Ness Monster. Chomp, 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 chomp.
Like the old Godzilla movie, the smog creature that was created from waste and trash.
Yep.
So that's something to think about. So look around. This is something, today's nice, but you see algae growing, and that algae is created from the pollutions here in the water and things. Even though we got the mussels and stuff that is cleaning it.
I mean, look at all those feathers too. I mean, this is pretty gross stuff. And you got people swimming in this. I wouldn't even. I think this is like child abuse right here. I wouldn't let my kids in this. Nope.
This here is just all spread. It's all gross. It's not clear. You can't even see out into it right there, where it's all just mucky and stirred up. So you have to think on this. On an SHTF event, what are you going to do for drinking water? What are you going to do for washing water? How are you going to survive? And one thing you don't want to do is this. Those things out there, all of that, you might as well forget it. You need to start doing your research. You need to see about plants you can plant in your yard that will filter out things, that will help absorb the pollutants and stuff. You need to figure out how you're going to start creating this water here and saving yourself and maybe cleaning it out. Because if you are going to live in this area, you're going to have to be responsible and start correcting some of the mistakes that was made before that destroyed all this. So don't be jumping in this after SHTF event. Some of that shit might not come off. So this is a life prepper here, and I want you to be safe, be happy. Bless you all.